What if they find out that I'm actually not that great of a guitar player? What if they find out that my studio is in an apartment? What if they find out how long it actually takes me to mix a song? What if they find out I'm not really that good at Pro Tools? What if they find out I'm not a good singer? How are they supposed to believe that I'm good at coaching singers if I can't really sing that well myself? What if they find out I'm not actually that busy all the time? What if I have an off day while they're in the studio and I can't actually accomplish work at the level they want me to be? What would they think if they found out that I'm paycheck to paycheck, right? What if they find out that I'm not nearly successful as a singer? What if they find out this project went sideways? What if they find out I'm a fraud? Throughout my career, there has been a whole bunch of moments, usually right after I kind of level up. After something happens that gets more eyes on me or that people think was a halfway big deal, I struggle with these feelings of inadequacy. Like, what happens if someone finds out that I'm not actually worthy of being here? What if they find out? What if they peek behind the curtain and they realize I'm not actually very good at what I do? What if they find out that I probably don't deserve to be where I am? There's been moments like this throughout my whole career. This is called imposter syndrome. And it's something that as we climb the ladder in our careers, most of us deal with, but we don't really talk about it. Let me give you a couple examples. When I was in Illinois, before I moved here to Nashville, I had a huge commercial facility, a huge commercial studio right downtown in Peoria. I got my first label credits in that room. I worked with some enormous bands in that room, some of my favorite bands in that room. And when we moved here to Nashville, it felt like a horrible financial decision to try to get a commercial space here in town. Well, I mean, honestly, I couldn't afford a commercial space when we first moved. And it also felt like a horrible idea to buy a house right when we first moved, because I genuinely thought that this town would probably chew me up and spit me out. That, from everywhere else, but from back home, the impression was that your barista in Nashville is probably a better guitar player than you, so it's pointless to even try to make it here. This was my impression of Nashville when I moved here. And so I did the only thing that we could afford that felt financially responsible. We got a 2-bedroom apartment, and I set up all that gear that was in my big commercial facility. I stuffed it into like an 11-foot by 12-foot apartment bedroom. You guys have seen that. The channel started in that room. But the reason why I bring that situation up is because it is the most crystal clear example of imposter syndrome and of this that I'm talking about that I've had in my whole career. I was terrified that people would find out it was in my apartment. So much so that I never talked about it. You never saw me post on Facebook about where it was. You never saw me mention it in Instagram posts. I never told anyone it was in my apartment until they booked a session with me. And then they showed up at my apartment and had to walk through my apartment kitchen in order to come do a session with me. And it was the most extreme example of imposter syndrome I'd ever had, because I was starting to gain success. I charted top 40 on Billboard, on the Billboard rock chart. Not even like an obscure chart on Billboard. The rock chart on Billboard, I charted top 40. I think 34 or 36 it got to, the song while I was in that room. And I was just terrified that someone would find out that I was in an apartment and not take me seriously. So I never told anyone about it until we started building this house. And I knew that I was finally building a studio that would be perceived as some level of professional, some level of desirable. Throughout our time in that apartment, I think it was 4 years we lived there. Throughout those 4 years, I became more and more comfortable with the fact that I was in an apartment and I was worthy of working on your music, even though I'm in an apartment. And it shifted over 4 years to almost be a badge of honor. Like when I would finally tell people that it was in an apartment and they've been following me on Instagram, they were blown away that that studio was in an apartment. And after I charted Billboard out of that apartment, it was like, no, I should be proud of this. I should be proud of the work that I'm doing and what I'm capable of. And I shouldn't be afraid to let people see what the reality is. Now, this is just one example over my whole career. My very first label credit, this was many years ago, back when I was in Peoria, Illinois. My very first label credit. I was so pumped I finally did a label project. And then I started getting some recognition out of it that I don't think I deserved, because the music that got signed to this record label, it was good. It wasn't any better than the other stuff that I had done. And so it felt like I didn't deserve the recognition of finally having some label credits, because it just wasn't any different than the other music that I worked on. So I had a hard time promoting that and feeling worthy of whatever came along with that. I experienced it here on this YouTube channel as well. And I think we all experience this as we gain little bits of success, but we don't ever talk about it. So I don't really know what the point of this video is. Maybe I just want you guys to know that we all go through this, and that we all deal with it, and that it is completely normal. And I guess I want you to know that if you're having any level of success, that you should embrace it. You are worthy of it. If you've had the success, then you are worthy of that success. And I guess I would like to change the perception of how we view all this stuff. Like, we shouldn't need to hide behind situations. I shouldn't have needed to hide behind living in an apartment, having my studio in an apartment, because some of the best music I've ever done in my career came out of that apartment bedroom. And I should embrace that, and I should let that be known, you know. I have now, obviously, many times on this channel and in public, but in the moment, I should have embraced that. Because if I'm having that success, I'm worthy of everything that comes along with that success. Anyway, just a quick one. I hope you guys found this relatable or useful or something. I got to get back to work on this. This video's coming soon, but it's taking forever. It's taking absolutely forever. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for being here. I hope these videos help you. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.